You're probably looking for a Notion setup that actually fits, one that adapts when your life changes, but doesn't overwhelm you in the process. That's exactly what we wanted too. So we built this. If you're anything like me, you've probably needed something to bring a little order to your life. University projects, software development, running a business, or just surviving the daily chaos. I've tried everything: pre-made apps, power app setups, Notion systems, and every time I ran into the same problem. They were either too rigid or so complex that I spent more time managing the system than actually making progress, and they all missed one thing: the human element. I didn't want a system that claimed to fix my life. I needed something that could support me while I grow, something that helps you see clearly, think systematically, get feedback from real data, improve continuously, and adapt when life changes. No clutter, no random extras, just a focused system, built for clarity, progress, and getting real stuff done. That's what we built with the Life Project. Notion pros, productivity experts, and UI designers helped build this with care and real attention to detail. So it's not just functional or great looking, but something that actually helps you improve day by day. Alright, but what does it actually look like in practice? The Life Project is made up of modular building blocks, each one focused on helping you unlock your potential. Success Blueprint helps you define long-term visions for the most important parts of your life. Project management keeps your goals and active projects moving forward with clarity. Habit tracking supports you in building consistent routines that actually stick. Notebooks and the knowledge graph help you capture and connect ideas in meaningful ways. And the integrated calendar helps you manage recurring tasks and events. No automation, no hacks, just straight up Notion. All of this comes together in a single clean dashboard, so you always have one place to see what matters most right now. And if you ever feel stuck, every module comes with a quick start guide, an action center, and shortcut buttons that help you jump exactly where you need to be. No friction, no confusion, just focus. So, let's dive in and walk through each module step by step. If you're familiar with the PARA method, you probably know how freeing it feels to finally organize everything into clear categories. But when we started building our own system, one thing became obvious. Organizing your life isn't enough. What truly matters is understanding why these areas are important to you and where you actually want to go with them. That's the foundation of what we call the Success Blueprint. Here's how it works. You start by choosing a key area of your life, what we call a success area. You define your long-term vision for that area. You reflect on where you are right now, your strengths, your weaknesses, and what you can build on. Then, you break that vision down into short-term goals that move you forward. And because life is always changing, this system includes regular status reviews so you can pause and ask, is my current goal still helping me? Or is it time to rethink, adjust, and set a new direction? In the template, all of this happens inside the vision board. That's where you create new success areas. Start by giving it a name. Then write your vision statement, a short, specific sentence that captures what you ultimately want in that area. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be clear enough that even years from now, you still know exactly what it means. You'll also set a priority level, how important this area is right now. And optionally, a target date if you're working towards something with a deadline. You can leave yourself a motivational message and choose how often you want to do a status review for this area. Once that's set, you move into the status review section. In each review, you'll take a closer look at how you're doing right now in that area. You'll rate yourself, not in a judgmental way, just an honest check-in, on a scale from 1 to 100. You'll note the biggest challenges you're facing, and also what strengths or opportunities you could build on. And maybe most importantly, you'll identify the key gaps. What's missing between where you are now and where you want to be? From there, the next steps often become obvious. Let's say your focus is on health, and you realize that consistent movement is missing. That naturally leads to a new short-term goal, like a workout routine, maybe 3 training sessions per week. The entire system is built to help you turn big, abstract visions into focused, actionable goals that guide you until your next review. Once your goal is set, it's time to make it happen. Every short-term goal can be broken down into real actions, which means projects, habits, or sometimes both. For example, a fitness goal might include 2 alternating weekly workout plans as habits, or if your goal is to improve productivity, you might start a new project, like setting up your own Notion system, and support it with a habit to actually use it consistently. The system is flexible. It adapts to your goal. You can view your goals and plans in different ways depending on what you need. Use a table if you want to quickly edit things. Switch to a timeline to visualize your schedule, or choose board view if you want a high-level overview. It's all up to how your brain works best. And then there's one of the most important parts of the system, vision progress. This gives you a quick visual on where you stand with each area. You'll see how close you are to your goal, whether you're on track or falling behind, and if it's time to do a new status review. You even get trend feedback, whether you've made progress since last time, or if there's a major gap to close. Before we jump into projects and tasks, let's take a look at the calendar, because in productivity, time is everything. This calendar is the backbone of the entire system. It brings together your habits, your tasks, and your events all in one place. At first glance, it looks like a standard Notion calendar. You've got monthly, weekly, schedule, timeline, and table views. But once you dig in, it does a whole lot more. You can group events into categories and even hide groups to keep things clean. You can manage different event types like habits, tasks, deadlines, or classes. And here's where it gets powerful. You can create true recurring events with custom repeat rules. For any event, you can define how often it repeats, daily, weekly, on specific weekdays. You name it. Once you've set the rule, just click a button to generate the first 14 instances. Each one becomes a separate calendar entry, fully editable, fully flexible. Now, this isn't infinite recurrence. It's a smart system that always generates 14 future events at a time. When the number drops below 6, like here with the morning routine, you'll see a button to generate the next batch. No duplicates, no broken chains, just smooth, predictable updates, exactly when you need them. If you ever need to change the rule or update properties like tags, linked projects, or habits, you always make the change on the original parent event. For example, you can update the date, rename the event, adjust any property, or even change the entire repeat rule. Then, with a single click, the updated set of events appears right in your calendar, fully refreshed, and based on the changes you just made. Every time you regenerate, the system calculates from the current date, so your calendar always stays in sync with real life. And here's the best part. Every generated event is still fully movable, so if your workout starts 10 minutes later one day, just drag it on the calendar. The rest of the system stays intact. This setup gives you structure and flexibility, a reliable rhythm without locking you in. And one more thing, you can link projects, habits, or tasks to the original event only, so everything stays connected without extra noise. With this system, you can manage recurring events in Notion as flexibly as possible without breaking your flow and without losing track of what matters. And if you ever get stuck, just like every other module, this one comes with a built-in guide to walk you through every step. Alright, now let's move into the project management system. You can manage projects in 2 ways, bottom up or top down. That means you can either start a project first and link a goal later, create a project directly from an existing goal, or even launch a project without any goal attached if that's simpler for what you're working on. The system's flexible. You follow whatever approach works best for your situation. When you open the project management section, you'll land in the priority view. Here, every project is sorted into categories from critical win all the way down to skip it. This helps you focus on what matters most first. And if you're not sure where a project belongs, you can use the built-in calculator to get a priority suggestion based on 3 factors: effort, impact, and cost of delay. So if something is easy to do, highly impactful, and time-sensitive, it jumps straight into the critical win category. No guesswork needed. Each project also has a status, and if you want, the system can calculate it for you based on how its tasks and even the sub-projects are progressing. Speaking of which, you can break down any project into sub-projects, and each sub-project can have its own set of tasks. Every project also comes with its own timeline view, and here, it's not just about tasks. You can also add key milestones, like deadlines, reminders, meetings, or even time blocks, so you get a full picture of how your project unfolds over time. And now, let's talk about the tasks themselves. Each task includes a short quick note for context, a calendar item and date, a manual status and priority, sprint assignment, and built-in buttons to add the task directly to your calendar. There's also time tracking, so you can see exactly how long you spend on each task, which honestly is one of my personal favorite features. If you link a task to the calendar, the system will automatically generate the calendar event, and that event will be clearly linked back to both the task and its parent project. You can make changes either in the task view or directly in the calendar, and that becomes the scheduled time for that task moving forward. Tasks don't have to be grouped only by projects. You can also organize them into focused time blocks. That's where sprints come in. A sprint is just a short, dedicated period, like a week or two, where you plan to complete a specific batch of tasks. When setting up a sprint, you can define how much time you'll realistically have to work on it, and choose exactly which tasks you want to include. Sprints don't have to belong to one single project. You can bring in any task that matters during that period, whether it's goal-related, personal, or just urgent. By default, all uncategorized tasks sit in the backlog. From there, you can drag them into whichever sprint you're building. On the sprint board, you'll move your tasks through each stage of the sprint, and the goal is simple: get everything to done or canceled by the end. As you move through your sprint, you'll always see real-time stats, showing how your projects, tasks, and overall sprint are progressing. And when a sprint's finished, click the Complete Sprint button. The system will ask what to do with any incomplete tasks, and once that's set, Sprint 2 begins automatically. This system gives you a balance of focus and flexibility. It helps you move your biggest goals forward, one sprint, one task, one step at a time. Projects help you make progress toward big goals, but not all growth comes from big one-time efforts. Sometimes the biggest change comes from building a habit, something small, consistent, and powerful over time. When you create a new habit, you start by defining its target. How much you want to complete each time. That might be 60 minutes of exercise, 10 pages of reading, or 10 reps of a workout. Next, you generate a recurring calendar event using the Create Calendar Item button. Let's see how this works in practice. I'm creating a recurring event for this habit, then setting the repeat rule, just like we've done before. And with one click, I generate the upcoming instances. Now here's the smart part. The habit automatically links to the next calendar event, so it always knows what's coming up next. And if your schedule shifts later, no problem. You can just drag the events to a new time, and the habit will automatically update based on the new start. Let's say you move your morning routine 40 minutes later today. That change will instantly reflect in the habit status too, because it always follows the next scheduled instance. That way, your system adjusts, even when life doesn't go exactly as planned. You can also define the type of habit. Is it a positive one you want to build, or a negative one you want to break? You can set a reward, write yourself a motivational message for tough days, and even log habit journal entries to track your mindset and growth. You can also identify the trigger behind the habit and use built-in tools to reflect and gain more awareness around your behavior. If the habit is more complex, like a routine with multiple steps, you can break it down inside the routine steps section. For example, let's say you're building a morning routine. You might have steps like stretching, journaling, making coffee, and each one can have its own unit and quantity. This way, you keep everything structured and still flexible enough to match how your real routine works. Every time you complete a habit, you log it in the completions database using the Done button. When you complete a habit, you can log how much of the target you actually did and whether you feel like that was enough to count as complete. You can also add context, like where or how it happened, and if the habit had a reward set, you'll get that too. And of course, you can add a journal entry directly while logging the completion if that's when the reflection feels most relevant. But this isn't just about logging data. This system also helps you analyze your patterns. Inside the habit history section, you'll find 4 powerful views. By week, you track how much you completed each week, so you can spot strong periods and weak ones at a glance. In by habit, you see all your completions grouped by habit, so if you're only focused on one routine, you can filter everything else out. Trend analysis shows graphs of your long-term progress, so you can track improvements or identify where things fell off, like seeing your morning routine become more consistent over time, or realizing that your workouts have started to drop off recently. And in Modify Log, you can manually adjust any log if something needs to be corrected. This entire section gives you real visibility into your habits, and that clarity is one of the most important things if you want to stay productive over time. But it doesn't stop at pattern analysis. You also get real numbers to back it up. You'll also see stats on active streaks, goal completion percentage, and average trends, and more detailed insights to help you track your consistency over time. Plus, there is a calculated consistency score based on your recent history. If your consistency drops, the system will let you know so you can course correct before falling off. At the top, you'll always see your current status, how many habits you've completed today, and how you're progressing overall during the current session. This is more than just a habit tracker. It's a long-term system for sustainable behavior change designed to help you build the habits that actually move your life forward. All right, you've got systems for action. Now let's talk about your notes and ideas. This is the second brain. I'll be honest, this was one of the most challenging parts of the entire system to design, because taking notes might seem simple at first, but in reality, it's one of the most complex, diverse parts of how we think and work. To really cover the different types of note-taking and thinking we do, we built 3 complementary sub-modules. First, there's quick notes for capturing anything that pops into your head. A book title, a shopping list, a random idea. It goes here. Second, there's classic note-taking, more structured, like what you might do in OneNote. Perfect for study sessions, organized research, or longer project-related notes. And finally, there's the knowledge graph, a space for thinking and connections. Instead of just storing information, you start forming insights. This is where deeper thinking and idea development really happen. So in this system, note-taking isn't just about saving what you read, it's about how that information becomes part of your own thinking. Now let's take a look at the main page of this module. Here you'll find the quick notes section, designed to help you capture ideas instantly without worrying about where they belong. Whether it's a movie name, a shopping list, or a random idea, this is where it lands first. And the best part? There's a shortcut button right in the top menu, available on every page, so no matter where you are in the system, if something pops into your head, you can grab it with one click and keep moving. This part isn't about organizing, it's about clearing your mind and keeping momentum. You'll also find a quick overview of your notebook's thoughts and references here. But we'll get into those in just a second. Now let's move on to the notebooks. This part of the system is all about classic structured note-taking, stuff you want to organize, come back to later, and actually find again. Think, lecture notes, meeting summaries, research, project docs, all in one clean place. Here's how it's organized. Notes live inside folders. Folders can have subfolders, like different semesters for a class. Each folder holds one or more notebooks, and inside a notebook you've got pages, which you can group into sections if you need more structure. Let's make it real with an example. You've got a main folder called Project Notes. Inside, there's a client. Under that, one of their projects. That project has a notebook. And in that notebook, weekly pages like meeting notes or ideas from a brainstorm session. And when it comes to brainstorms, there's a built-in flow to help you reframe the question, explore ideas, and land on the most impactful solution. It keeps things focused, whether you're thinking solo or working with a team. When you create a new page, you can pick from a set of templates designed for different kinds of notes. Cornell Notes, with questions and summaries for deep learning. Brainstorming, to help turn ideas into actual plans. Meeting Notes, so your next steps don't get lost. Research Notes, for structured academic or article-based content. And journal entries for more personal reflections. It's designed to feel natural, like your favorite note-taking apps, but with all the power of Notion. And since people take notes differently, we kept it flexible. You can find your own rhythm here, how you like to capture, sort, and revisit the information that matters. But this part is mostly about external information, what you've read, heard, or gathered. That's why we also built something for internal thinking. That happens in the knowledge graph. This is where things get a bit deeper. The knowledge graph takes a totally different approach from traditional note-taking. Instead of just storing information, you're actually developing ideas and building meaningful connections between them. Like a digital network of ideas with just enough structure to support your thinking without getting in the way. The whole system is inspired by the Zettelkasten method, a thinking framework used by Niklas Luhmann, who wrote over 70 books and 400 research papers using it. We adapted that method to work beautifully inside Notion, so you can get the same benefits in digital form. It's built on a simple idea. Every entry is just one clear, standalone thought. An idea, a question, a realization, maybe even a solution. Something you'd want to remember, revisit, or build on later. The key? Keep it short, keep it clear, and make sure it stands on its own. So if you come back to it 2 years from now, you'll still know exactly what you meant. But here's the thing. Ideas don't live in isolation. They connect. And there are 3 main ways they do that, each one reflecting a different kind of thinking. The first is horizontal linking. This is when a new idea branches out from an existing one at the same level. You're not going deeper, you're exploring a different angle. In Notion, these thoughts appear side by side, creating a web of parallel insights. Then there's vertical linking. This is about depth. You start with one insight and build beneath it. Maybe you add an example, a consequence, or a personal strategy. In Notion, you create these as sub-items forming a clear vertical chain of thinking, and finally there's cross-connection. This is where it gets interesting. Sometimes 2 ideas from totally different topics suddenly click, like something from productivity suddenly connecting with memory or retention. You can create that link using a cross-connection field, or just @mention the related idea right in the text, which makes it super easy to connect thoughts on the fly without breaking your flow. And over time, these links start to reveal something bigger. How your ideas actually relate across topics, projects, even completely different areas of your life. These unexpected links from the cross-connection often lead to your biggest breakthroughs. So instead of folders, you're building a living, breathing idea network where everything connects and nothing gets buried. To help with organizing, each thought can be tagged with 1 or 2 subject areas. But these aren't categories in the traditional sense. They're not boxes. They're more like guiding themes that help with search and context later. Psychology, productivity, creativity, that kind of thing. Keep it to 5 to 10 main areas so the whole system stays simple and clear. Then you've got keywords for more flexible, free-form tags like overthinking, habit stacking, or prioritization. These make filtering and cross-searching way easier down the line. And since ideas rarely come from nowhere, there's a whole section for references. You can link your thoughts back to books, blog posts, videos, podcasts, whatever sparked the idea. References come in 3 types. First, there are written sources like books, PDFs, and articles. Then you've got links, websites, blog posts, or anything you saved online. And finally, media, like YouTube videos, podcasts, or even digital tools that sparked an idea. You can attach multiple references to any thought, so when you want to revisit the source, it's one click away. Now, once you've added enough thoughts, the system can even generate a mermaid graph, a visual map of your entire idea network. Just copy the auto-generated mermaid code, paste it into Notion, and switch to preview mode. You'll see the structure of your thinking in real time. Patterns emerge, new connections appear, and sometimes ideas you forgot about come back stronger than ever. Oh, and there's a sidebar that surfaces random thoughts and highlights your most active one, so you're always staying connected to your own best thinking. And finally, we've reached the heart of the system, the dashboard. This isn't just some static overview page, it's a living control center that helps you stay focused on your tasks, habits, projects, and long-term goals every single day. Right at the top, you'll see your current stats. It shows how many tasks you've completed so far and how many of those were planned for today. The same goes for habits. You'll see how many you've completed in the current session and how many are still left for the day. For your goals, the stats are more long-term. How many projects you've finished and how many habits have actually become consistent over time. Scroll down and you've got your daily focus. Here, you'll see all the tasks you've planned for today, the habits you want to focus on, and how things are going in your current sprint. You can also take a quick look at your week just to see how today fits into the bigger picture. And over on the side, there's a built-in Pomodoro timer. Set your focus time and breaks, hit start, and get to work. Short break, long break, one click. It's not just a timer, it's your focus companion. Now, sometimes an idea pops into your head, a note, an event, a task. That's what the quick action bar at the top is for. It's always there, no matter what page you're on. So you can capture things instantly without breaking flow. Then there's the Action Center, your command hub for anything that needs attention. Overdue tasks, unfinished habits, projects or goals that are due for a review. No need to go searching, this is where your next step always shows up. And if you ever want to tweak the system to better fit how you work, you'll find all your core settings here too. Date formats, display preferences. You can also enter your birthday if you want to use the time-based features. You can also adjust how wide the tabs appear, especially useful if your system handles layout differently. Oh, and remember the FAQ we mentioned earlier? Each module has its own. Inside, you'll find the key questions and answers that help you move forward step by step. They're there to guide you through the system, help you understand how everything works, and make it easier to learn and apply it as you go.
If you've been feeling like you need a system, not just to keep track of things, but to actually help you grow and stay consistent, then the Life Project might be just what you're looking for. We built it to work in real life, something that's clear, focused, and helps you move forward, one day at a time. You can grab the full template from our Notion shop, and if you use the code LIFE50, you'll get 50% off for a limited time. The link's in the description. And hey, maybe you don't need the whole thing. Each module, like calendar, habits, success areas, or the second brain, is available on its own too, so you can mix and match or plug just one part into your own setup. Also, if you're studying or just love learning new stuff, we've got something in the works that's built to help with exactly that. More on that soon. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you've got questions. Thanks for watching, and good luck building your own life project.